You know, it's one of the great mysteries of modern life. You're paying for this lightning-fast internet plan, but a lot of the time, it just doesn't feel fast. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out what is really going on with your connection.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You run one of those speed tests and it shows this amazing number, like 100 megabits per second, maybe more. But then you go to watch a simple video and bam, you're just stuck staring at that dreaded buffering circle. It's so frustrating. Or, hey, maybe you're a gamer. Picture this. You are in the middle of a super crucial moment. Everything is on the line, and suddenly, your character just freezes. That one single infuriating split second of lag, that's all it takes. Match over, you lose. And then, of course, there's the classic slow download. You're just trying to get a big file, and that progress bar is just crawling, making you question all your life choices. And look, in today's world of remote work and video calls with family, a choppy connection is a huge problem. You know, when everything keeps freezing up or dropping completely. So, what is the deal? If you're paying for all this speed, why isn't it working? Well, let's find out.
Okay, let's really get into the core of this. It all boils down to this one central myth. The idea that the speed your internet provider sells you is the only number that matters. But the truth? That number is just one little piece of a much, much bigger puzzle.
So let's use an analogy. Think of your internet connection like a highway. The big speed number your ISP advertises, that's your bandwidth. It's like having a massive 10-lane superhighway. Awesome, right? But just because you have 10 lanes doesn't mean your trip will be fast if the road is totally jammed with traffic. Your actual experience, that's your real travel time.
Okay, so to get just a little technical here, bandwidth is really the maximum capacity of your connection. It's all about how much data could possibly move through your network at any given moment. But here's the key. It tells you absolutely nothing about how quickly one single piece of data actually gets from a server all the way to your screen.
So if bandwidth isn't the whole story, then what is? Well, it's time to meet the real villains of our internet experience. These are the culprits that are actually responsible for all those slowdowns and frustrating interruptions.
All right, first up, and this is the big one, latency. You've probably heard it called ping. Now, I want you to forget all about how much data you can move. Latency is all about time. It's the time it takes for a single little packet of data to travel from your device to a server and then all the way back again. You know, a huge reason for latency is just plain old physical distance. I mean, even at the speed of light, it just takes time for data to travel across the globe. For example, a data packet going from New York to a server in London and back, that takes about 145 milliseconds. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but trust me, for anything interactive like gaming or video calls, those little delays add up, and they add up fast.
And this is why latency is the #1 enemy of anything you do in real time. For online gaming, it's that killer delay between when you click the mouse and when something actually happens on screen. On a video call, it's that awkward pause where you end up talking over each other. Heck, even just browsing the web feels sluggish because every single click you make means another round trip to a server and back.
All right, let's meet our next villain, packet loss. See, your internet data doesn't travel in one giant continuous stream. It's actually broken up into millions of tiny little pieces called packets. And packet loss is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Some of those little pieces just get lost along the way. When that happens, the server has to realize one is missing and send it all over again.
And this whole process creates this really annoying stop-and-go cycle. Your device asks for something, a packet just vanishes, and then everything has to pause while the server sends a replacement. What does that feel like for you? It's that stuttering, that freezing. It's basically the digital version of being on a phone call and having to say, "Wait, what? Can you say that again?" over and over.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's not always the big, wide internet that's to blame. A lot of the time, the biggest performance killers are lurking right there inside your own house. Seriously. You can have the fastest connection in the world coming into your home, but it can all get jammed up in a bottleneck before it even reaches your computer.
So, what's the most common culprit? Yep, it's Wi-Fi. It is super convenient, we all love it, but it is also famously unstable. The signal has to fight its way through walls, ceilings, and deal with interference from your microwave, your neighbor's Wi-Fi, you name it. An Ethernet cable, though, that gives you a direct, physical, and way more stable connection right to your router. And there are other silent speed killers too. Just think about your own home right now. How many devices are on your Wi-Fi? Your phone, your laptop, the smart TV, a game console, maybe a smart speaker, they are all fighting for a piece of that bandwidth. And a lot of them are downloading updates in the background when you don't even realize it. Oh, and if your router is more than a few years old, that could be the biggest bottleneck of the whole shebang.
All right, I know that was a lot of problems, but here's the good news. You are not powerless here. Not at all. So let's talk about some simple, concrete steps you can take to fight back and actually improve your internet experience.
Okay, you ready? Here is your action plan. First, and I cannot stress this enough, this is the most important one. For any device that really needs a stable, fast connection, I'm talking your gaming PC, your work laptop, use an Ethernet cable. Seriously, it's the single best thing you can do. Next, go look at your router. Is it stuffed in a closet or behind the TV? Get it out. Move it to a central location, out in the open. And while you're there, log in and check for firmware updates. They can make a real difference. If that router's getting a little old, more than a few years, it might just be time for an upgrade. And last but not least, just be a little more aware of how many devices are doing heavy lifting, like streaming 4K video all at the same time.
So really, the big takeaway from all of this is stop obsessing over that one big speed number your provider advertises. That number is just potential. The real test, the only thing that actually matters, is your experience. Does your web browsing feel quick and snappy? Are your video calls smooth? Is your gaming lag-free? That is the true measure of a good internet connection.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on, right? This whole obsession with a single number isn't just about internet speed. Think about it. Camera megapixels or processor clock speeds. What other tech numbers out there do we just kind of accept at face value without really stopping to question what they truly mean for our actual day-to-day experience?